Good evening, everybody. Welcome in to the podcast that Jarrod and I are so fond of when it comes to sports betting in the world of,
Correct.
you guessed it, sports. We are here to talk shop once again. Nick Sisson, the coach J-Rock, Jarrod Stidham. Wearing the traditional Oregon Duck outfit.
Well, actually,
you know what your outfit kind of reminds me of a little bit? If you had a green shirt to go with it, it would remind me of Ray Gun.
pretty close. I can see that.
Exactly.
Chelsea's doing it right now across the ground.
Yeah. Ray Gun.
Man,
it's a huge sham.
I don't know if you're keeping an eye on the Thursday night game at all, but Baltimore's
it was spicy.
Leading.
It's 35-28, yeah. Like I said before we actually went live, I've got Joe Burrow on my team, which is great for fantasy. But I'm going against Jamar Chase, which is not great for fantasy because he's got 47.9 so far. Like,
yeah, that's 10 for 250 will do that with 2 tuds.
Yeah, and they're in the red zone. I mean, Burrow's thrown for 421 yards and 3 touchdowns. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, you can't ask for a better performance, and except Jamar Chase is opposite of you in the lineup, which makes it not so good. But anyway, whatever. So how things going? I had to take last week off, obviously. I know you missed me.
I did. Yeah, I know you're a busy man running the old high school production. They had you running pretty much all week last week, didn't they?
Oh yeah, I always stay busy. It was a good week of football though, except for like the result of the game. It was pretty tough.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fine with. I don't care who wins. It's fine with me if Mark Morris wins the game. But oh my god, like it couldn't have been more uncompetitive in the second half. It was just like to the point where you feel like thrown in the towel, like you're preventing Apollo Creed from succumbing to his demise.
Yeah.
It was
one of the rare times where you wanted an actual mercy rule inside of a football game or a running clock.
Well, that's the thing is that they ended up getting to the running clock. It just took a while to get there. Like, it was it was rough. But since we weren't here last week, I should let everybody know that the week before the most previous show, Jarrod, I know you've been dying to hear this again.
Yes.
But your boy cashed, bro. Your boy hit a 6-legger in the NFL pick'ems. We had San Francisco -4. This is against Dallas, by the way, a long time ago. Nobody remembers.
2 weeks ago.
And the Chiefs money line against the Raiders, Pittsburgh -6 against the Giants. That was that I had to hold my breath in that one there.
Yeah.
Atlanta -2.5 against Tampa Bay, and then Arizona +4 against the Dolphins. We knew the Dolphins were fraudulent.
Right.
And then the final game, which actually was not the final game, but I saved it for last. The Commanders +2.5 on the Hail Mary against Chicago helps cash the ticket.
All-time bad beat there for anybody who had taken the opposite.
Anyway, obviously, I expect you to remember off the top of your head, but if you don't, that's okay. That was $25 for 776 plus 3,005 on the odds there. So, woo! And then also, spoiler alert, I also went 5-0 on UFC picks, and that runs my total to 10-0 in the last 2 pay-per-views. What'd you do to your camera? Did you fog up the lens?
Maybe. I was getting really into it. Was getting steamy in here with how hot you've been.
Oh, blazing hot, blistering hot, so hot. But no, it was a good week, obviously. So
yeah, no, you've been on it.
But yeah, how things been going for you?
I mean, we're still number 1.
We are still number 1. How do you feel about that, buddy?
I mean, the game that I've had circled since the beginning of the year, outside of the Ohio State game, because I think everybody in the world had Oregon, Ohio State that early in the season, is like, this is going to be amazing football. the trip to Wisconsin and then rivalry with Washington. Like, I know it's, we have Maryland this week, and by all means, it's not. Oh, buddy.
Tomorrow another?
Yeah, Burrow got another, but so did Chase.
Oh.
Oh, man.
Hey, man, if you're going to lose big.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. But you got extra time here now coming. 38 seconds, unless Baltimore wizards their way into the end zone. Sorry. Trying not to get distracted. I just
55.4. Ooh.
God. Insane. But yeah, Camp Randall this late in the season, that's a scary game. And then anytime you play your rival, it's a scary game. I don't care how good you've looked and how bad they've looked. Good news for Washington fans. Florida came out and said that they're going to keep Napier around for another year. So you guys have Jedfish for another year.
Are you sure that's good news?
Yeah. I think he's got, at this point, you'll see over the next couple of weeks, real dialed in focused team now that he's not picking out homes in Florida.
I'll say this about the Huskies. We can't bet on them here in the state of Washington. Oh, they went for 2 and missed it. Oh, good.
No, they didn't.
What a bunch of losers.
Why would you do that?
That's probably the right decision. That's probably the right move. Yeah, look what happened to the Bucks. The Bucks could have went for 2.
Maybe
against the Chiefs the other day, but
I hear what you're saying, but like they had momentum. Cincinnati doesn't have momentum.
Yeah, but they can't stop each other. Neither team can stop one another. You don't want to play overtime on a Thursday night game.
I guess you're fair.
Anyway, so back to the Huskies real quick. We can't bet on them this week because I'd lay the house, the mortgage, the kids, anything. There's no way they're covering 13.5 against Penn State on the road this week. There ain't no way. Ain't no way.
Think so? I actually love it.
Ain't no way.
I'm not joking. I love it. I love the Huskies in this game.
No.
Yes. Number one, they're the number 2 pass defense. Penn State can't pass the ball. Washington can stop the ball. Penn State sucks at stopping the run.
Bro, Washington literally played Iowa, a team that can't throw the ball either, and they gave up like 8 yards per carry, knowing that the run was coming every play. Fair, right?
I get you.
It's Happy Valley, bro. They're coming off of a loss.
Penn State just lost the big one, though. They're going to be so scrambled around. I'm telling you, catch them in a weak spot. You're going to sucker punch them.
No. I don't believe it.
Swear. Watch. Warlock Magic. Bro. I have new. They have to play one time above their medal, and it can't be week 12.
They're saving everything for that game.
I hope
they're gonna blow their wad against Oregon.
All right, I can see that.
So yeah, Oregon #1 team in the country right now, and the Purdue Spoilermakers didn't slow them down at all, and I think Oregon's pretty good so far this year. I think they figured it out. Granted, Idaho and Boise State are the toughest teams that they've played outside of the Ohio State game, which, by the way, I just want to go on record real quick for maybe the first time you've ever heard. So write it down if you need to. But can Ohio State fans just please shut the fuck up? Like, he wasn't down, okay? If anything, he held the ball way too long. Yeah. I'm tired of hearing it. It's over. Game's over. You lost. Right? You got out-coached. Ryan Day hasn't won a big game, ever for Ohio State. So I'm sick of hearing about it. The Ducks deserved to win the game. They played better. They made more plays down the stretch. And I don't care what anybody says. He wasn't down.
No.
Yeah, they don't have 1 second on the clock when you're sliding when there's zeros.
Bring that comment, that last one from Thomas there. Bring that onto the show, because I want to tell you, this was okay. That right there is the number one reason I was okay with the Pac-12 disintegrating. I went, oh my God, this is the end of two things I can't stand. November trips to the desert, House of Horrors. I don't care. House of Horrors. And two, Pac-12 refs. But what we're finding out is that the Pac-12 refs didn't actually like stop reffing games. They just got dispersed to other places. And so nationally, people are like, reffing's at an all-time low. What happened? You guys got infiltrated by Pac-12 refs because you guys needed refs. And these guys had credentials. They just suck at their jobs more than most.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're learning the hard way.
100%. Yeah.
It's what we dealt with for so long. I had a question. This is what Cougar fans wanted to hold on to forever, by the way.
I had a question for you. Have you looked at the CFP 12?
I peeked at it the other day. Yeah. I might be able to rattle it off, I think, but I think it was Oregon was 1, and oh God, was it Texas was 2? I don't remember.
No, see, this is the thing that made it absolutely like so weird to me. Give me 1 second. I'm going to it right now. So Oregon's 1. You have Ohio State 2.
I didn't think that was possible.
Well, it's because the way that they're ranking teams differently than the way that they'd be seated. Now, in this situation, the way it would go, okay, 3 is Georgia, 4 is Miami, 5 is Texas, 6 is Penn State, 7 is Tennessee, 8 is Indiana, 9 is BYU, 10 is Notre Dame. So the way this sits right now, 1, Oregon would have a bye. Your next highest conference champion would be Georgia at 3. They would have a first round bye. Your next highest rated champion would be 9 in BYU.
Miami.
Miami. Sorry, Miami. They would be the ACC champion. They would be 3. And then you'd have BYU at 9 to be the other first round bye, which means Ohio State would be the 5 seed. You would have Texas as the 6 seed, Penn State as 7 seed, Tennessee as 8 seed, Indiana is 9 seed, Notre Dame is 10 seed, Alabama as 11 seed, and then Boise State as the G5-12.
I thought they had Boise State at 11.
Nope, they have Alabama just ahead of them at 12.
Yeah, I mean, I think Boise State's going to be that power non-power 5, whatever the group of 5, they're going to be the G5 team unless for some reason they lose for some reason.
Here's where things get interesting, and this is why I brought it up. Currently, as things sit right now, Boise State is 12. BYU is the highest conference champion in the Big 12. If they lose one time and Boise State keeps going, Boise State could end up with a first round bye because they would be the highest rated conference champion.
They would consider that. I thought the group of 5. Oh, well, it'd be interesting.
They're a conference champion, are they not? They would still get they'd still get in.
I thought the whole point of the group of 5 is that they don't count them as real conferences.
Champions. I'm just saying, the way that this looks to me, there is a way that Boise State can end up with a first round bye.
Doesn't bother me any.
Right.
I mean, can we just get Penn State out of the freaking tournament? They're no good.
Well, I think Penn State will get out this weekend with the loss to Washington.
Oh, stop.
No, I'm serious. That's a huge part in this. Penn State loses to Washington this weekend. Like, no more talk about Penn State. Doesn't matter.
They're not any good.
They're not.
Washington gave Indiana a decent game.
Without their quarterback, they didn't have Curtis Rourke.
So?
That matters.
Whatever. Anyway, good for the Ducks. They're number one. This week, though, Maryland,
The Terrapins.
they're turtles. All right.
Got to be careful of them.
They're turtles. They're snapping turtles. Yes.
Mm-hmm. They could be. No, they're Terrapins.
Terrapins.
We'll see if they earn that extra R.
Terrapins.
Terrapins.
Oh, I don't think that's what it is.
Oh.
It might be.
Can you stop?
I don't know. All right. Let's start with on the bottom here. So since we're on the subject of terpenes.
Terrapins.
I thought that's a hat in the Middle East or a wrap.
Maybe turbans.
Turbines, yes, terpenes, whatever. Well, surely you must have Oregon as the favorite in that game, right, Jarrod? I mean, you're if you're putting them on your ticket, surely you're going with Oregon to cover, yes?
Nope, Warlock math. So let's start at the top, though. A team that out of nowhere has really surprised me, UCLA. I enjoy what they're doing. I enjoy the way that they're playing football at the moment. Deshaun Foster might actually be a decent coach and when they're not playing super difficult schedules. So I like them at home against Iowa. I know it sounds goofy, but I like that. Give me UCLA. Texas is playing Florida. Florida probably isn't going to have their job-saving quarterback DJ Lagway this weekend. So I just don't see a way that they score more than 17, and I don't see a way that Texas doesn't score more than 35. So you're safe all day taking Texas in the 21.5. Another one that's I would have been a lot more scared to bet this game, given it being a 7:15 kickoff, if Utah didn't look like just absolute dog water recently. I don't know why Utah hasn't looked good, but it's not just Cam Rising. It's Utah in general. Like defense isn't playing the way that it used to. They don't have a run game. There's been moments and flashes, and maybe I'm completely wrong on the read of this game, and BYU's way too hyped up, and this is the letdown week. They finally have it happen playing Utah, but I'll take BYU against Utah right now. Georgia plays Ole Miss. They travel too. I didn't take the points in this game because I think that this could be a really ugly rock fight, to be honest. Like one of those vintage. Jameson, where's Steve? Sorry. But I think that this is one of those, you look at the scoreboard and it could be 14-6 and halftime. Ole Miss is up and you're kind of like, what, how? And then the score is done and the game's over and it's 23-21 and Georgia kicked the last minute field goal to win this game. So it's do or die mode. They're wounded animal. Like if they lose a game, they don't get to go play in Atlanta. It's kind of like, is a 10-2 Georgia team really going to miss playoffs? No, 10-2 Georgia will still make playoffs regardless of who the losses are to and how terrible they looked. It's Georgia. The name will get them to the playoffs, but they want to play for the SEC championship game. And if they lose a game, they're not going to have a chance to go play for it.
That we think. Some other teams that we think other teams could still lose, to make it tiebreakery. But I know what you're saying.
I mean, you're not wrong, but I mean, it's starting to get to kind of that point of
you want to control your own destiny.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to control your own destiny, and like if you look at the way that the SEC race is starting to kind of shape out, you've got Georgia 7-1. You have A&M is 7-2. You have the Tennessee Volunteers that are 7-1, and you have the Texas Longhorns that are 7-1. Georgia is of course, at the top of it at 7-1. But if you enter into that 2-loss range, you know what I mean? You're gonna be playing. Oh, conference. I'm sorry. I was looking at total overall. I apologize. Redact everything I say. Scratch that from the records. Recut. We're doing it from the top. Georgia's 5-1 in conference. Texas A&M is 5-1 in the conference. Tennessee is 4-1. Texas is 3-1, and LSU is 3-1. And people are asking all over, how is this a conference? And how has Georgia played 6 conference games and LSU has played 4 conference games? That's called SEC Warlock math. They do it their own way down south. Okay. But you can't drop into the next tier of teams. Like I said, if you lose to Ole Miss is the other 2-loss team that's right there. They would then have the tiebreaker over you. And then just this other 3-2 conference team, the Alabama Crimson Tide, they don't happen to have a tiebreaker over you as well, would they? Oh, they would? Okay, so you can't lose 2 games here if you're Georgia. It effectively puts you out of the conference title game. So moving past that, Georgia's wounded animal. Georgia has no choice but to play absolutely dialed every single week from here forward. Indiana gets to invite in Michigan this weekend. I think Michigan's best punch was thrown last week. Home, you're playing against Oregon. You're not going to have a better audience at all. And you had your fans leaving by the third quarter and a mass amount of fans leaving by the fourth. I don't think Michigan has a dog in this fight. Coach Sig lights them up. And my final part of the 6-pack is Maryland, the Terrapins traveling all the way over to Oregon. 24.5 points. It's just a lot of points. 24.5. Maybe it's another 21-point game, and then you see a lot of other people play. Secondary wise, the bench players. So $25 at 5,357 odds plus, and the ninja in the background. You get $1,300 as a payout.
Nice. Well, yeah. I certainly am not here to dissect your decisions. I think that we will agree on a few of these games. I think we'll agree on a few of them. UCLA is probably the riskiest pick here, in my opinion, out of all of this. You mentioned BYU Utah letdown game. I don't think teams that are undefeated this late in the season have letdowns. I think that the other teams just play above their pay grade. It's the Holy War. Can Utah do it? Maybe. I mean, if their defense shows up and the home field advantage shows up, I think that they could end up winning this game. But all in all, I would lean with where you're at there. That Indiana spread has moved since you've gotten on the slip here. I'll say that. And Maryland plus 24.5, man. I would just hate to see the Ducks let you down and cover, letting you down by covering in this one. But I'm with you. I think you're on to something there.
Okay.
I'll show you kind of where I'm at here. So I'm on Bama -3 here against LSU. You mentioned teams that are desperate that can't lose. Bama's definitely in that conversation. You can throw LSU in that conversation as well, but I think that the expectations with Jaden Milroe coming back at quarterback and a lot of talent on both sides of the ball for Alabama, I think that I can't really remember a big game that Brian Kelly won as the LSU coach. Against a really, really solid opponent. No, I can't think back to it.
No, his big games have always been early in the year. And they've been like week 1, week 2 against something like this year. He played USC and he lost. They lost to USC, right? I think people forget that he lost to USC in week 1. And it's just kind of like that's how Brian Kelly always is. And then you get to actual real teams and he gets the doors blown off him. And you're kind of like, guys, Like the writing was on the wall. This is a Brian Kelly team. He's not really going to have his guys ready.
Yeah, I'm on Alabama winning this game here, trying to stay in the conversation. I got Texas Tech, a home underdog to Colorado here, +4 for the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Not a lot of faith in Colorado going on the road and getting into the conversation for potentially getting into a conference championship game. I think that's a little too far out of reach here, and I think Texas Tech has played pretty good at home this year. So that Indiana spread against Michigan has gone up a point, 14.5 now for Indiana. And I jumped on that still at 14.5. Like you said, I think Michigan's just dead in the water. They're packing it up, getting ready for next year. It's hard for me to see them.
We're getting ready for Ohio State.
They're just not going to come up with the effort necessary to stop a team that's rolling like Indiana is on the road. And Indiana had a slow start last week, and they still won by 40 against Michigan State. So,
right. They're terrifying. That's a scary good team.
And then I kind of like the Cyclones of Iowa State -3 against Kansas this week. Kansas hasn't really performed very well in games against, well, I'll say it, tougher opponents. They couldn't even get it done on the road against Illinois. I'm not too concerned there. I think that pretty safe with Iowa State winning that game. Georgia -2.5. I'm with you, buddy. I'm taking the points here in this one because you got to win by something if you win. And I'm just going to bet that it's by more than 2. I feel that Georgia is still maybe the most complete team in the SEC. Going to Texas and getting that win was big. And the way that the game against Alabama went, it was a little weird. And I thought that Georgia played better in the second half once they kind of settled in and found themselves, I guess, against Alabama. That then Brian Williams just happened, and there's really nothing that you could do about that. That was just a ridiculous play that you'll probably never see again. But that's where I'm at before the final pick. Boise State was laying 24 in this game coming up against Nevada. And I don't like 24 points in that game. I think that's just a lot. You're asking a lot for a team, and weird shit happens in November when you got teams that are on the precipice, Jarrod, of getting into the playoffs, winning a conference championship, having a chance to go play for the Natty. Anything's possible in November. 24 points. You're asking me to lay that? No, there's no way. I'll just take the money line. I think it's a win. I feel pretty safe about it. I want to cash the ticket. I don't really care about the long odds on here. So if we do cash the ticket, it's 663 and 46 cents at plus 2,554 odds. And I don't think it's really that far fetched here. I mean, there could be a slip up, and I think if there was a game that I'm most nervous about, it's probably Texas Tech covering 4 at home against Colorado. But everything else I feel really confident in.
That was the one that I was going to say is, like, if you look at Big 12 standings, right, as we're within reach of the end of the season, I know it sounds crazy and a long shot, but like BYU lays a game down. They're the only undefeated team in the Big 12 right now. Right behind them is the Iowa State Cyclones. Right behind them is the Buffaloes. So Colorado realistically could sneak their way into the Big 12 championship game. Their schedule remaining isn't that difficult. I think Texas Tech is the biggest challenge that they have left. Everybody thought Utah was going to be a bigger game, but it's Texas Tech, Utah, Kansas, Oklahoma State to end the year for the Buffs. So they really could sneak past someone. BYU lays one game down. It's a 3-man race, and then outside that, I didn't have anything that was really on your. I agree.
Texas Tech. Picked a few of the games that similarly. I'm taking an extra point there.
Yeah,
for Indiana. Obviously, the money's heavily favored there on that side, but it's Ann Arbor. Anything can happen.
Right.
That's what I hate about it.
Yep. No, totally agree.
Let's go back to you real quick. We'll switch it to the big boys.
To the big
Bottom
guys.
of your screen on the tickers, Jarrod's NFL 6-way.
This is my most conservative week, and I don't feel like I did that purposely. It's just the way the games kind of fell. Giants versus Panthers at a neutral field. No one's home. Panthers are garbage.
Whoa. Bryce Young just won a game last week. You trust the Giants here?
Let me finish what I was saying.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
Panthers are garbage. Giants are recycling. Okay. Every once in a while, the recycling's useful. Garbage never is. I think the Giants will win here. Bills at the Colts. While the Colts look like a decent team with Flacco involved, I am a much bigger fan of the way the Bills have been playing this year. The Chiefs still have the Zebras. See? You're going to make them go full screen on you, Jameson. The Chiefs are still in the Zebras corner, or the Zebras are still in the Chiefs corner. So as much as I love Bo Nix, it's at the Chiefs. It's going to be the Chiefs. Tennessee travels to the Chargers. I like the Chargers a lot in this game. Give me the Chargers. Dolphins go to the Rams. I think the Dolphins could still be somewhat okay as long as Tua doesn't get knocked out. Arizona Cardinals play home to the Jets. Maybe we finally get that Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams just circus show, but I like the Cardinals in that game. Like I said, super conservative. It's only plus 1,100, so $25 earns you 320.
That's still really good. That's 11-1 odds.
Just felt
God, I just have such a problem betting that Giants and Carolina game. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong, but man, putting any type of faith behind either one of those teams, I mean, that's bad. That's not good. There's got to be other games out there, right?
I mean, yeah, I just felt like it was a pretty easy read. I don't church it up.
Sure.
It's gonna be ugly. It could be.
I hate the Miami money line pick. I hate that pick. I'd rather go with the Rams in that one. I just have zero confidence in the Dolphins. I mean, absolutely none.
I get it.
Mike McDaniel, McDonald, whoever this one is, I don't know. Awful.
Yeah.
I would coach the Dolphins better than this bum, this fanboy.
Will you go sit down and
watch it? Now on to N2. I got Denver plus 7.5 here on the road against Kansas City. I'm going to tell you right now, Jarrod, every time that I've bet on a game involving the Chiefs, I've picked the Chiefs. You know, and they've won every time. There's never been a time that they haven't come through for me. I think that this is the week where I'm going to go opposite of them. I feel like I've got a pretty good beat on the Chiefs. They like to win a lot of close games.
They do.
They really don't cover often. They win games, but they don't cover. And that extra half point for me is really intriguing. Denver's coming off an absolute beating against Baltimore. Kansas City kind of had to survive there against Tampa Bay. And, you know, I think Mahomes is going to be fine, but a little bit gimpy in that game. You got ninja kicks going on, teep kicks.
I know. We're going to have to cut out for a second. Go sit down on your couch right now before you go to bed. Jameson, you're eating? Yeah.
We got Papa Jarrod in the house. Papa J-Rock.
You don't need to hear anything. It's all fighting.
Kneecap.
For 3 episodes. Okay. Anyways, back to our normally advertised broadcasting.
Is Marvin Harrison Jr. still hurt? I don't know.
Let me look.
I don't know. It's a good question. Anyway, Denver plus 7.5 against Kansas City.
Yeah.
Chargers -7. I'm laying the points. Tennessee's defense is atrocious. What does Jim Harbaugh like to do? Run the ball, control the clock. Limited possession for Tennessee, maximum points for LA. I'm going -7 Chargers. Arizona plus 1.5. Home underdogs to the Jets. Why? The Jets are trash. Aaron Rodgers is trying to recreate the New York Jets as Green Bay 2.0, not working.
Right.
I don't know who he can call to get there. Maybe Mike McCarthy will be available here soon.
He will be.
Yeah. No way. The Cardinals are playing in first place right now. Since the very first game of the season, when they played Buffalo and they gave the Bills all they could handle there in week 1. I've been kind of keeping an eye on the Cardinals, and they're playing solid. They're playing as solid as anybody right now at 5-4. Home underdog to the Jets. Give me a break.
Right.
Let's see here. Where was it? Oh, Rams. Yeah. Rams -1.
Yeah.
That's the Dolphins game.
Yep.
No. Dolphins are not. No. It's a pick 'em here. I mean, you're telling me that a team that just went to Buffalo and lost a close game in a division game, now they have to go all the way across the country to LA the next week, and Tua is probably going to get concussed getting on the airplane. So I'm going with the other team, the Rams. Detroit -3.5 at Houston. I got to tell you, Houston's a good team, but they lost to the garbage, trash ass Jets last week. I cannot, and they're injured. Too many injuries, Jarrod. They're way too many. They got to shorten the injuries. The Texans, I'm not 100% on. They do have Mixon who can run the ball. They play well at home, but
they do.
You know who runs the ball better? The Detroit Lions, the number 1 rushing offense in the NFL.
Yep.
So, and then finally, Eagles -7.5 against the Cowboys. Listen, I hate to say this, right? But the Cowboys might actually be slightly better with Cooper Rush at quarterback than Dak Prescott, because Dak has just been playing god-awful this year. But no CeeDee Lamb, no Dak, no running game, no shot. Eagles -7.5 in that one.
Yeah. No, 100%. I don't have any issues. I think those are spot-on games.
Yeah, except for the one that you picked that went opposite of that when you picked the Dolphins.
Like you said, it's a pick 'em. I don't blame you for your reasons on why you decided to pick the way that you did.
All right, look here. You know what the Ram is, right? It's a fucking goat with horns.
Now, easy there, Pat. Listen, I was going to get to it, all right, but you had to let me get in character, right? All right, the topographical pick of the week this week. The San Francisco 49ers travel to Tampa Bay. I mean, is gold mines? Nowhere. But the Pirates, seas galore. Doesn't even make sense. That's Brucey's geographical lock of the week. The 49ers are traveling to nowhere with gold around at all, because it's all on the ships of the Buccaneers.
Tampa, huh?
Yeah, I really like Tampa this year. I don't know why, but I really like Tampa.
Tumwater High School's own Cade Otton having a good year at tight end.
What was that?
I said Tumwater High School's very own Cade Otton, former Husky, having a really good season for Tampa Bay this year. He's kind of turned into the number 1 target now that Evans is out and Godwin is sidelined as well and not coming back this season.
Right. He has. No, it's been an awesome year for him. And like, who doesn't like Baker? I mean, I know there's a lot of people who don't like
Tom
Baker,
Brady.
but Baker's awesome.
Yeah,
NFL
Tom Brady
better.
doesn't like him.
I don't care.
Can't the entire University of Kansas doesn't like him. Anybody who's a Jayhawk.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. Let's see who else. Everybody who went to Ohio State. Let's see. Nick Bosa doesn't like him.
It's true.
So I mean, there's a couple that there's
Those
not a lot of
don't
people that really
him for
like Nick Bosa
illogical
right
reasons.
now.
It's not good reasons. Those are illogical reasons.
I'm just answering the question, Jarrod.
It's like people who don't like Jameis Winston. Get out of here. Protect that man.
Put the W, taste it. Taste the W.
That's not even his best quote. His best quote, like one of the it'll kill me anytime. I quote it all the time. People who are born around water have a different way of life. I don't know what the point of that was, but he meant that with his entire soul.
Yeah, every fiber of his being.
Yeah, it was just Jameis Winston. Please stay in the NFL for as long.
Buddy, I'm a little worried about the Seahawks getting over 9 wins right now. It's not looking so good.
I don't think so.
It's not looking so good.
It's not looking good. They're beat up. They're hurt everywhere. Seattle, we're on bye this week, and somehow we'll still figure out a way to lose that.
Well, the Vikings lost to the bye not too long ago.
Yeah, no shit. No, it's at one point in time it looked like, Seattle was going to be something, and now thank God everybody else, we're at the bottom of the division, but we're also a game behind the lead of the division.
Dude, we've lost 3 home games. We're done. Cooked.
Hey, who's leading the NFC West?
The Cardinals.
Yeah. What? The Cardinals. What?
Yeah.
They're 3-3 in the conference. That's why.
They're winning games.
Their differential points for, points against is -7.
The NFC West is garbage.
It's not good.
Why do people call them the Sea Chickens? I don't understand that. I don't know. Thomas, I don't get it
from either, but it's there.
I guess in terms of an insult, right? I guess it's because it's a bird.
Yeah.
It's a chicken, which apparently they're former dinosaurs. Yeah, they're former raptors.
Right. Closest thing to a Tyrannosaurus Rex that we have these days.
No slight here to the chicken. I got myself 5 chickens, and they lay perfect eggs for breakfast. I'm kind of partial to chickens there, Brucey.
I don't blame
Cardinals
you.
At 5-4.
Yep. I think them and the Commanders are the biggest shock.
Oh, the Commanders are definitely.
Who would have thunk it? You told me Commanders were going to be 7-2. 10 weeks into the season, I would have told you you're full of shit. The only team with a better record than them is the Lions at 7-1, and the Chiefs at 8-0.
It's disgusting. That game this week, I didn't touch it though. Commanders and Steelers. Oh my gosh, that game looked tough.
That's going to be a good one. Steelers are 6-2.
I could see Pittsburgh winning this game just because they do so well against rookie quarterbacks. It's going to be tough.
It is, but Jaden Daniels could go absolutely bonkers.
He could go hog wild.
Yeah.
Kind of like me ex-girlfriend, a ray gun, I taught her everything she knows.
It's not just a yellow shirt in honor of Ray Gun. It's actually Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai. Yeah.
Strike hard, strike
Yeah.
fast.
You gotta point to the logo often. Exactly. Well, buddy. No, is there UFC this week?
There might be a small
Something
card,
minor.
It's
Real
not
quick, I just want to point out a couple of things. Number one,
November 16th is our big one. Jones and Miocic.
I still don't believe that fight's gonna happen.
You still think something's gonna happen between now and then?
I just have a hard time believing that Stipe is actually going to be ready to step in and fight John Jones. I just don't know.
Yeah. Hey, what? Maybe John Jones needs to be ready to step in and fight Stipe.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. Is it just me, or do you feel the same way I feel? But it's like I feel like that Stipe's got like zero shot. I mean, I don't know why, but I feel so confident in John Jones winning that fight. Like, I don't even think Stipe should get back in the ring, honestly.
No.
He got absolutely starched, though, by Ngannou.
Okay, John Jones has never once thrown a punch half as hard as Ngannou.
Yeah, true, but he beats you in a completely different way.
100%. Is John Jones going to just tear Stipe apart for 3-4 rounds and then submit him? Yeah, probably. Does that mean that Stipe has 3-4 rounds to figure out a way to beat him the same way he beat Daniel? Yeah, it does. So, yeah, I get what you're saying. It's been a really long time since Stipe's fought, but
Ring rust.
it's a real thing.
Oh, and by the way, I didn't obviously play the ticket that had a prop bet for Ilya knocking out Max, but your boy called it first time it was going to happen.
I said it was possible. I totally agreed. Said, yeah, no, it totally could happen. Very regrettably aware that could happen. And
I'm just saying that I've been pretty Nostradamus-y when it comes to these things.
You have been.
It's not going to last.
Arguing.
It's not going to last.
But for right now, you've aligned with the universe.
I feel okay. I feel okay. Well, I'm excited for this Stipe Jones fight. We'll talk about that next week.
Next week, it'll be here. We will be on its precipice.
Exactly. The precipice. I like precipice. It's a good word. Well, buddy, you got playoff high school football coming up this week. Hope you're ready for it.
Of course.
I'll be doing La Center and Elma on Friday. It'll be my third straight week with La Center.
Elma involved. Eagles, huh?
Yeah. And then I'll be down in Ridgefield on Saturday for Ridgefield against Fife. It's playoff time, baby.
That'll be awesome.
Should be a good time. You got anything else? I
didn't have anything else. There's our 6-pack. Regrettably, no good UFC fights. I mean, everybody who fights in the UFC is a good fighter, but no big cards that I feel change title pictures in any way. It's headlined by Neil Magny and somebody else.
Nice. Rosie Namajunas is done. Time to go.
Send her
time to toss that groomer Pat Barry to the curb.
Facts. He should never be allowed to coach in a gym ever again.
Yeah, he's got some weird vibes, bro.
Yes, he does. He deserved everything Czech Congo did to him.
Well, which is what? Get knocked out twice and then get up and knock him out?
Yeah, that's exactly. Be knocked out by him twice and then find a way to get back up and then put an absolute beating on him.
Yeah. I think Dan Murgliata had something against Czech Congo that night.
That night. He had Czech winning it, and he was like, I'm not calling this until you aren't breathing.
maybe Czech found his way into Mrs. Mergliana's DMs or something.
Yeah.
Your wife's in me DMs.
Yeah. He's supposed to be fighting soon, supposedly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, he's going to have to stop training for Roadhouse 2. The search for more money.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, he's done, bro. He's so done. He's as done as Jake Paul is against Mike Tyson, which is also this month, by the way.
Yeah, that one is. We'll talk about it at some point after it happens.
All right, buddy. Well, enjoy your children and your wife behind you.
Yeah, will do. Kids are going to get sent to bed.
Thank you, Stidham family, for allowing us the opportunity to talk a bunch of factual things that are going to happen in the world of football this week.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Well, thanks for coming on the show tonight. Appreciate it. And glad we could get it in.
Yeah.
That is the coach J-Rock, Jarrod Stidham, Oregon Duck non-alumnus, but very big fan. And I am Nixus and N2 Media, non-alumnus for UW, but very big fan. And so we will be back next week and talk some more sports with y'all. And I hope your tickets cash. Good night, degenerates.